What would be top of mind for you in terms of your expectations from the government to keep up the pace that was picked up in 2025?
So Siddharth, to go back to look at history, the budgets over the past few years have been remarkably good because they focused on the longer term. They focused on investments and continued fiscal discipline. The investments that have been made is making us more competitive. Investments in infrastructure, the amount of roads we are creating, the airports we are putting up, digital infrastructure that's come into place. And yes, there is a narrative that private capex hasn't kept as much pace with government capex. From our standpoint, at least, we've quadrupled capacity in the auto business. We've added 60% capacity in tractors. We continue to add more capacity. But I feel that will happen as we see more demand, as industries get to 80-85% capacity utilization, which is starting to happen now. We will see more capacity coming in. But from a government perspective, if we can stay the course, consistent with what we've done in the last few years, focus on capex, on infrastructure creation, on maintaining that fiscal discipline, we would look at that as a very powerful budget.
Where do we stand as far as the EV cycle is concerned for India?
So Siddharth, we are in a very good place on that. I have been saying this over the last...
the limitations and the shortages with regard to supplies.
We see the shortages for both ICE and EV in any case, so that doesn't matter. I've been saying for the last 2 to 3 years that it starts with a product that a consumer looks at and says, wow, I want that product. Okay. That we have achieved now. It's based on consumer feedback. Products that they would rank with cars that are multiples in price that we offer as well. And that wow factor is a starting point, because then a consumer starts thinking about other aspects, saying, one, am I paying a lot more for this?
Now it is
range kitna degi? Right? Okay. So that question never goes away. Right? But the first point is price. Right? And here I would give a lot of credit to the government for the incentives they put in for EV. That's essential for transitioning this industry. The incentives may not be required after a few years where the industry has taken off, but that was essential to give the consumer a price that is relatively at par with ICE. The second aspect is range. So our vehicles today give 500 kilometers real life, and that takes away a lot of anxiety from customers. The third is battery life. And what happens? Will the battery life go away in 5 years? We give a lifetime warranty to the customer within certain bounds, but we see batteries lasting a lot longer in the new configuration that we have. Safety at one point was a concern. When we launched it, we literally put our battery in fire. We put nails into the battery. We had a 22-ton truck run over the battery, and it survived all of that. We've had various crash tests done. We do that on a regular basis and ensure that the battery safety is maintained at a very high level. The final point, which is not fully addressed as yet, is infrastructure. In a city, you don't really need it, because if you're charging at home or an office, you typically need to charge once a week. But if you're driving on the highway, infrastructure is required. And this is where a lot of effort is going in, again, with the government and industry to set up that infrastructure. That will take 2 to 3 years to set up, and which is where we feel that the pickup will be good, but inflection point will come after the infrastructure is set up.
When would that be? Put a year
my sense is 2 years at most. And here again,
2028 inflection point for the EV.
Yes, but even till then it's growing. We are now up at almost 7% to 8% of our vehicles as electric vehicles, right? Which is not a small number. Europe today is at 17%. So we will surpass.
Aspiration for that number to be at
30% in the next 3 to 4 years, and 50% after that. So it will take off. But I feel so far at least the government has done all the right things, because the incentivization and the focus has been on EVs, not on hybrids. Hybrid is a short-term technology, and that will frankly take away from EVs, because the charging infrastructure may not come up as much. From a manufacturer standpoint, we can make hybrids as well. But our focus has been on what we feel is a better product to address the two policy imperatives around a fuel import bill and around cleaner air. And with the vehicles we have today and the quality of those vehicles, we feel very good about where EV is headed.